As I grow older, I've come to realize something I never understood as a child. Home isn't just walls and a roof, it's a feeling, a kind of warmth that stays with you no matter where you go. That truth became painfully clear to me during the war that my hometown has been enduring since October 2023, when Israeli bombs destroyed my grandfather's house. It wasn't just a building I lost. It felt like an entire world collapsing. That house, old, simple, nothing fancy, shaped me more than any other place because it held all of us together. And even though it's gone, I still carry it inside me. But in my heart, I had already felt that loss earlier when my cousins were killed. That's when I understood more deeply. It was never the walls that made it home, it was them. My home lives in faces, in voices, in memories, in hugs, and without those, I'm just passing through. Home without them is nothing but an empty shell, like walls without a heartbeat. But then comes to the bigger question. If home isn't just walls, then what is it? I think I found my own answer, but I also know everyone sees it differently, and that's what we are exploring today. What home means at a time of unimaginable loss. I'm your host, Huda Hlasa, and today we will hear the stories of Minna Sabir and Wad al Bayari, who will reflect on this question through their own experiences with home and war. The first answer comes from Minna. Following a long journey of displacement and instability, Minna sat with her mother in a tent that had been their home for the last week and talked about their home, the home where they dreamed, loved, and laughed before they being forced to leave it behind.
Now I'm recording this interview while my soul is stuck in Gaza City and its north, and my body is alone in a handmade tent somewhere south of the valley. I think it's now a full week of living in the tent at the south of the valley, as they want us to, after a displacement journey that lasted more than 2 hours on foot. We are in a place like a garden full of trees that bring peace to a land lacking peace, in a handmade tent that we all worked on with our tired bodies and souls. My 2 brothers, my mother, my father, my younger sister, 2 of my uncles from my mother's side, and me. شو هي أول إشي اشتريتيها? What was the very first thing you bought while preparing this home? And how did you dream decor would be like? The colors, the antique touches, and how did you imagine the soul of this space would feel in every corner and detail?
أهم هاي الأشياء اللي كنت أنا حابة يعني كنت
The most important things I got and what I was most excited for are things I got for you. I got you clothes, a camera, toys, and I would photograph you in every corner of the house and put your photos in every corner. Even when we fled the house, something told me to go open the closet under the bombing and the fear, to open the closet and take the photo album. It's the only one I took. It has your photos when you were young in every corner of the house. The decoration of the house was very simple. I didn't like fancy things. Everything was simple. Before we fled, the last thing I did in the house was the kitchen cabinets. Before we fled, the last thing I did in the house was the kitchen cabinets. I did them in August, and in October we started our journey of suffering. Thank God. The last thing I wanted to do was the kitchen cabinets, and I bought all the utensils I wanted. Everything was brand new. It's all gone now. Still, we thank God.
شو عملتي لحتى توصل؟ What did you do to have the home you lived and has gone now, and how much time and effort did it take?
البيت اللي تركته الحمد لله على كل حال.
The home that we left took me 22 years to make since I got married. I suffered a lot to get it. I borrowed money, I joined savings groups. When we moved into the house, it was the whole world for me. I could see your whole life in it. My goal was to give you safety and stability, to make a future for you.
It was when my parents' 19th anniversary. I remember that day when my father came carrying a bucket of flowers and chocolates, looking for my mother in the whole house. She was running quickly, fearing that there was bad news, and she was surprised, and a smile appeared on her face when she saw the flowers and chocolate with my dad, and it was really a great day. I don't remember the exact date, but our house was bombed twice. The first time was in May 2024, when we were displaced in a relative's house. And the second one was in January 2025, when we were displaced in a friend's house. It was a hard day when you know that your whole life is destroyed by just one pump and you'll never see your home again.
طبعا أنا كنت بالأول مش حابة أرجع نهائيا ولا أشوف البيت.
Of course, at first I didn't want to go back at all, or even see the house again. After we lost it in May, I just couldn't bear the thought of returning. How could I? Everything we worked for, all our dreams, gone in a moment. I felt like I wouldn't be able to handle it. But when everyone told me that part of the house was destroyed and part of it was still standing, we went back. Thank God, it gave me some comfort. Yes, it's damaged, and yes, the iron staircase we made cost a lot, but still, thank God, it made me feel that we might be able to continue our lives there. The place I loved the most, of course, was the living room. It was like your spirit comes back to life when you sit there. Thank God. It was the only part of the house completely destroyed. I couldn't recover even a small memory from it. We managed to salvage a few small things from other parts of the house, but from that corner, nothing at all. Still, we thank God.
I went there, where we had built an iron ladder. I went up to my room and said goodbye to our apartment. After the second bombing, I didn't go back to the area because I refused the idea of seeing it hanging without reaching it, and it was making me sad. I was disappointed that I'll never reach my room again, and it was heartbreaking.
بعد ما راح البيت فقدنا كل هذه الأشياء.
After we lost the house, we lost all those things. We lost hope, privacy. We started moving from one place to another.
It was a hard journey, starting with leaving our apartment, moving to my uncle's apartment on the lower floors, then leaving the whole building and running through the streets from one alley to another to reach a shelter where we were given a small room for the entire neighborhood We lived there for about a week. Then we went to my university where I lived in a small room with my family. We were 7 and we lived in its library with my family for about 25 days. A relative's house, a friend's house, another relative's house, until we reached our final displacement journey in a tent made by hand.
هذا البيت للأسف رغم إنه كان نصف مدمر يعني.
That house, even though it was half destroyed, we thanked God and said at least we have a place to shelter us. We started rebuilding it, and here we are for the second time. We had to leave that house too, to an unknown place. Only God knows the conditions in the place we're in now. Every time I try to enhance any parts of it, I start to cry. I can't believe the way that we were and the way that we are now. But what can we do? That's what's available, and that's what God wanted for us. We are still much better than other people who are living in tents. What's harder is that we're not together. Your father was forced to stay in the house, and that's the hardest part, to feel that the family is scattered. I had to leave with you under the shelling and come to this place, and your father had to stay in the house because it's not secured. It has all of our furniture, or what's left of it. Everything we bought and left there when there was a ceasefire. Of course, the war resumed, and if we leave our things, we might not find anything. My heart is split in two, between you and your father back at the house. God protect you and keep you safe and bless you with all that's good, my dear.
كلمة البيت بإيش بتذكرك؟
What does the word home remind you of? And what are the things that come to your mind when you hear the word home? Tell me, what does it mean to your heart?
كلمة بيت فيها وجع كبير.
The word home carries so much pain because a home is your cover, your protection, it's your safety. When you have your home, you feel like your life is in order, everything is settled. All your secrets are within those walls. But now, I don't even know what to say. When we left the house, we didn't know what to take. You end up having the bare minimum, sitting in a place where you don't know anyone, where no one around you is familiar. Even now, we're sitting here saying to the people below us, please turn your phone volume down, the boy needs to study. But if we were still in our home, in our neighborhood, like back when you were in high school, I would tell our neighbors that you're studying. They would say, yes, yes, Mahmoud. And they would tell everyone to keep their voices down because Minna is studying, Minna is studying. And when you got your diploma, the whole neighborhood celebrated with you. Everyone came at the same moment, happy for your success. I just ask God to keep you safe from all that we're going through. May God protect you from the pain we're in and the shelling and these conditions. What's most important to me is that you all stay around me, that I don't lose anyone else. We've lost enough. It's enough. Thank God.
And I hope that I'll never live a new displacement journey again, and that I return to Gaza City and the northern Gaza soon to embarrass my soul and make the long road easier for my tired body.
Home is meant to be the place where we feel safe, a door we can close, a roof we can trust, walls that protect us from the noise outside. But when water arrives, that promise shatters. Next, Wad opens the door to her memories. She takes us back to her house, to the corners she loved, to the warmth she once knew, and to the day that warmth was shattered.
On December 8, 2023, I was at my sister's house on the south of Gaza, along with her husband and daughter Habiba. My mother, my sister, my father, my other sister, and her daughter Sham. My sister's house is where we all ended up after being separated and displaced for months. Before we were all in the same place, I had to spend all day glued to the news to make sure there were no bombing where members of my family were. When we all reunited again, I felt some comfort because whatever happened, at least we could be together. Evacuation orders came for the areas near us, and the situation went from bad to worst. Back to December 8, 2023, at midday, my father went to the market. My sister and little Sham were asleep upstairs. My sister's house was so small, a ground floor with a short staircase leading to a single bedroom. My mother, my sister, and her husband were having a conversation. I was with my other sister, Sham's mother, planning to clean the house. That's all I remember, until suddenly something pushed me hard, knocked me down to the ground. Things fell on top of me. The voices of my mother and my sister stopped, like someone had covered their mouth. Nothing was there but darkness all over, and the sound of little stones falling apart one piece after another. And then suddenly something broke the silence, the scream of my sister upstairs, calling for the little girl, Sham, Sham. Other screams followed. Someone shouted, "Get out, get out." It was my other sister, afraid that another airstrike would come. Under the rubble, so many questions were floating on my mind. What was that? What happened? Then I told myself, okay, Wahed, this was a direct strike. I know it, because people who survive a strike always said the same thing. You don't hear the sound of the missile, you don't hear the explosion, you just feel nothing until it's over. Those few minutes under the rubble were the hardest moment of my life. Thoughts overwhelmed me, rubble covered my whole body, filled my mouth, my nose, making it so hard to breathe or move. Once I realized what had happened, I began thinking, what should I do? How long would I be here? Will anyone hear me? Will anyone get me out? What if no one comes? Will I survive? Is this going to be my grave? My mouth was full of black dust, and my lungs were full of black smoke. I tried to breathe, then I began to say Shahada, La ilaha illallah, over and over. Next to me was a sofa. I was sitting on my knees like I was on a prayer. I started banging on the sofa with my fist, shouting, I'm here, I'm alive, I haven't died, get me out of here. No one heard me. I screamed again. I tried moving my body, raising my arm. I couldn't see anything but darkness, even though it was midday. I managed to push away some of the things on top of me, feeling around with my hands, and finally I stood up. It was still dark, so dark. I thought I was still trapped under the building, but then I realized I was outside. The house was gone. All the walls were destroyed. Most of the furniture lay scattered on the street. The darkness was from the thick black smoke from the explosion. Then I heard my sister's voice, calling, "Get my daughter out, my daughter." I asked where she was. She said she was sitting on the sofa. I went to where the 4-year-old had been. "Where are you, Habiba?" I asked. A small voice answered, "I'm here." I couldn't see her. She was completely covered under the TV and the huge glass fish tank. I began lifting everything off her. Her head was inside the broken glass tank. Her face was frightening, blood running from her mouth to her neck. I pulled away the heavy glass tank, cutting my hands in the process. I tried to lift her, but couldn't. My clothes were soaked with her blood. A man I didn't know appeared in the house. I handed her to him. All my family members had wounds and were taken to the hospital. My sister and I stayed behind. We looked grey from the dust and debris. I told her I wasn't afraid of dying as much as I was afraid of dying without anyone hearing me. Later that day, at a relative house, we were watching news reports about attack. We saw a video of a little girl screaming loudly, her face covered with blood. We were watching it and feeling sad for the girl. Then we realized it was Sham. We were able to recognize her only by her clothes because her face was covered with blood. Even now, when I hear shelling, I wonder, is there someone under rubble right now? Did their voice reach anyone? Did someone hear them? Will they be saved? Are they in pain? We moved to a relative's house, and there I began to understand how war transforms homes. My sister's little warm house, where we had so many family memories, turned in an instant into a cold, dark, harsh place, almost deadly. War turns homes into graves for their owners. Many people are still under the rubble of their house, and no one can get them out. When the house is bombed, there is no privacy. All the pictures, paper letters, clothes, all the personal things become available to everyone. They become part of the street. There is an Arabic saying I always hear from people around me, especially the older ones. They say, the house is a cover. It protects and covers our bodies and makes us feel warm. I never understood the deep meaning of that saying until that day. Homes are like us. They feel what we feel. They cry, collapse, and die, exactly like us. After we left my sister's destroyed home and moved to a relative's house, nothing felt the same anymore. We were alive, but we were not the same people we had been before the strike. Every sound of bombing took me back under the rubble. Every cloud of smoke reminded me of the darkness that surrounded me when I thought no one would hear my voice. Even in my sleep, I woke up gasping, feeling dust on my mouth and lungs again. Habiba survived, but the sight of her little face covered in blood and glass never leaves me. Sometimes I look at her and wonder how a child so small could carry so much pain in silence, not even shedding a tear when doctor touched her without anesthesia. She is only 4, yet she taught me more about strength than anyone else ever could. War stole our home, our safety, our laughter, but it could not steal our bond between us. Still, I carry question in my heart every day. How many children are still under the rubble? How many voices go unheard? How many homes turned into graves before anyone could say goodbye? Home isn't just walls. Home is where we gather, where we share our stories, where our memories live. But war doesn't only destroy walls, it turns to destroy the meaning of home itself. And yet, even in ruins, I believe our homes live through us, through our voices that refuse to be silenced.
In every place I was displaced to, I kept telling myself, maybe this time I will finally feel like I belong. I tried to fix the space, rearrange it, make it look a little more like me. Maybe then it would feel like home. But no matter how much effort I put in, I never did. Each place I stayed in only made me miss my real home more. No corner, no wall, no view could ever bring back that feeling of safety and peace I once knew. But with time, I started noticing something small, that sometimes, even far away, I could still feel a bit of home whenever I was surrounded by my loved ones. Maybe houses can fall apart, but the true home stays alive inside the people we love. And maybe that's what I've learned, that home isn't always walls or rooms. Sometimes it's a feeling that reminds us we still belong somewhere.